The family of my husband's best friend said they should have ended up together. To me, and my husband didn't say a word. Now I'm done. Pretending this is normal. I've been sitting on this for a few days trying to decide if I'm just being dramatic or if I've been letting too much slide for too long. So I, 30, female, have been happily married for a few years now. My husband, 31, is honestly a gem, kind, patient, hilarious, loyal. Basically everything you'd want. Which, after having an ex cheat on me with his best friend, is kind of a big deal. That relationship wrecked me for a while, but I worked hard not to drag the wreckage into something new. And my husband? And thankfully, my husband's never given me a single reason to question him. Until now? Maybe? I do not know. My husband and I have a great relationship, and we're pretty social and often hang out with each other's friends. I get along with almost all of his group, and they've honestly made me feel welcome, except for her, his childhood best friend. Let's call her Claire. Claire has always been cold to me, not outright rude, just subtle enough to make me feel crazy for noticing. You know that kind of vibe? Every time we've been in the same room, she's managed to talk around me, not to me. I tried, I really did. I've smiled, made conversation, been nothing but warm, even when she's given me nothing to work with. She doesn't show up to group hangouts, but she'll invite him over, and he always tells me, to his credit. He never goes without mentioning it, and he's never weird or secretive about her, but it still rubs me the wrong way. I've tried being friendly, I've tried small talk, hell, I invited her to our birthdays, barbecues, engagement dinner. She bailed on all. She skipped our wedding too, and she only ever seems to reach out to him, usually when she's just been dumped and needs to talk. When I've brought it up, my husband says I'm overthinking it, that Claire is just a little odd socially. Maybe she is. Then, a few weeks ago, out of nowhere, she messaged me. She asked if I'd model for her project. Totally unexpected. And I was caught off guard enough to say yes. Part of me thought, maybe this is her trying to connect. Maybe this was her olive branch. I even felt a little hopeful. God, I was naive. So I agreed. My husband offered to come with me since he hadn't seen her in a while and thought it'd be fun to catch up after. When we got there, her family was also involved. And from the second I walked in, it was like stepping into some passive-aggressive Twilight Zone. Her mom and sister kept calling my husband our son-in-law. I laugh, awkwardly. Think I must have misheard. It only got worse. During the shoot came more of the snarky comments. Jokes about the one that got away and some bonds never fade. Her mom at one point literally said, "We always thought Claire would end up with him." But life has its detours, I guess. Claire always imagined walking down the aisle with him. And then, it's sweet of her to fill in, though. Oh, come on. I wish I was exaggerating. And Claire just kept snapping pictures, smiling, saying nothing. No, hey, cut it out. No awkward laugh, no redirect. Nothing. My husband? Clearly uncomfortable. I watched him fidget through the whole thing, clear his throat a few times. He tried to change the subject or came nearby me during the shooting. He didn't say much either. Just went kind of quiet. I stuck it out for an hour. Let her take her photos, smiled, posed, whatever. But the whole time I felt like I was part of a social experiment, and everyone else was in on the joke but me. When we got in the car, he was silent for a while, then finally said, "Sorry about all." That was weird, right? And honestly, I didn't even know what to say. Because, yeah, it was weird. It was borderline disrespectful. And the fact that he was there, saw all of it, clearly felt it too, and still didn't step in or pull the plug, it makes me feel kind of alone in this. I'm just tired. Tired of pretending this woman is harmless or just awkward. She knows exactly what she's doing. I don't want to start a huge fight, but I'm at the point where I don't want her in our lives. Not as a friend. Not as a ghost in the corner of our marriage. No more bending over backwards to be the cool wife. I'm not interested in earning points with someone who clearly doesn't want me around. Anyway, thanks for letting me scream into the void for a minute. I really needed to get this out. Edit. Sorry guys, English is not my first or even second language. Sometimes it is harder to get my points or feelings across. Just to clarify a few things people were asking about. Claire is actually a photography major, and this shoot was part of her final project. I'm not a professional model or anything, but I've done some hobby modeling here and there, so when she asked if I'd help out, I thought it was a casual favor. Why at her house? She comes from a wealthy family and has a fully set up photo studio in their house, which is why the shoot happened there instead of at a regular studio. I honestly thought it'd just be her and the camera, not a full audience with drinks and commentary. Additional background. I grew up in a pretty emotionally abusive household, so I think I've gotten too used to passive-aggressive comments and just sort of freeze up. Maybe that's why I didn't react more in the moment. But yeah, it definitely hit harder after the fact. I will update you as soon as possible. Thank you for all your comments. Edit 1. Wow, reading your comment and honestly so many others has really helped me see just how not okay that whole situation was. Think I was so used to brushing off this kind of behavior that I didn't even realize how deeply disrespected I was. I grew up in an emotionally abusive household, where snide comments and passive aggression were just part of the background noise. So when someone pulls that kind of crap now, I think a part of me automatically minimizes it like, oh, I've heard worse. But reading all your reactions kind of snapped me out of that. And yeah, it hurts that my husband didn't shut it down. I've been trying to rationalize it in my head like maybe he didn't want to escalate things because it felt like a trap. Or that he is not used to being in these kind of situations. None of that excuses it, though. Not even a little. I'm going to talk to him tomorrow. Really talk. Not brush it off, not laugh it away, just lay it all out. Because at this point, I need to know where he stands. Thanks for the reality check. I needed it more than I realized. Edit 2. Yeah, honestly, I get why it sounds off. I probably would have side-eyed the whole thing too if I wasn't living it in real time. So no, I'm not a professional model. She just needed someone for a thesis project. And I've done a little hobby modeling here and there, so I figured it was casual enough to help out. I guess she didn't want to go through the trouble of hiring someone last minute. As for the location, Claire comes from money. Like money. They'd converted part of their house into a kind of makeshift studio for her to work in. Lighting, backdrops, the whole deal. So that's where we did it, which I didn't think was too weird until I got there, and her whole family was hanging around like it was dinner theater. Drinking wine, making snide comments, just watching. It was honestly awkward as hell. I definitely wasn't expecting that. I thought it'd just be her and a camera, not a whole audience and running commentary. Update. A quick recap for those who missed the original. My husband's childhood best friend, Claire, has never liked me. She skipped all invitations, but invites my husband alone, avoids me in person, and still found little ways to insert herself into his life. The final straw? She asked me to model for her final photography project. I showed up thinking maybe it was a fresh start. Nope. Instead, I got publicly mocked by her family, who joked out loud that she should have been the one marrying my husband. First off, holy crap. I did not expect that post to blow up like it did. Thank you to everyone who commented, messaged, or just made me feel like I wasn't losing my mind. So many of you asked for an update, and here it is. For those wondering, no, they never dated. He had a high school crush on her over a decade ago. That's ancient history. No, I don't think he's ever cheated, emotionally or physically. He's always very open and honest. We have each other's passwords. They barely see each other anymore in person, maybe once every few months. We live about 2 hours away. Okay, so here's the update. Funny enough, I didn't even get the chance to sit down and talk to my husband before something else happened. I just can't believe my life at the moment. Anyway, I was still trying to process what happened and sort through my anger towards Claire, and honestly, toward my husband too. That's when I got a message from my sister-in-law. We'll call her Madeline. I'm really close with Madeline. She's also part of the wider social circle that Claire floats around in. They're friendly but not close. She sent me a screen recording from Claire's close friend story with a simple WTF. It was a clip of me posing during the shoot, no music. But in the background, you can clearly hear Claire's sister say, Claire should have been the one to marry him. I lost it. I waited until my husband got home from work, sat him down, and showed him the video. He watched it once, then again. His whole face changed. He finally looked pissed. I could not help but think, why didn't he have the same reaction there? So I laid it all out. I told him everything. Every snide comment, every time Claire made me feel small. How I'd always tried to be civil. How I never asked him to choose between us. But I was done being polite while someone consistently disrespected me. I told him, if this doesn't bother you enough to act, we've got a bigger problem. I'm not going to be in a marriage where I have to beg to be defended. I need a partner who stands up for me. And if that's not you, then I need to rethink this. He didn't argue, didn't get defensive, and I know he feels sorry. Then I showed him the Reddit post. He tried to read every comment. Some of them made him tear up. When he finished, he looked at me and said that he feels like the worst husband. He let this happen right in front of him. He is so sorry. And asked me, what do you need from me now? I told him straight up, this isn't just about her anymore. It's about whether or not you're willing to protect this marriage. But I'm not going to feel like I'm second place in my own relationship. So it's either me or her. So we called Claire. She picked up all cheerful, acting like nothing had happened. We brought up the video. She immediately got defensive. Oh, come on, it was just a joke. Are you really mad over that? Seriously. And that's when he stepped in. This isn't just about the video. It's the constant disrespect toward my wife. I didn't say anything before because I didn't want to lose your friendship. And I convinced myself you didn't mean it. But what happened at that shoot? That was disgusting. My wife came to support you, and you and your family treated her like a joke. I didn't speak up then, and I'm ashamed of that. But that ends now. I don't even know why I held on to this friendship for so long. If you can't respect my wife, you don't respect me. She laughed. Literally laughed. Wow, you're really cutting me off over that girl? OMG. I was ready to fight. But husband calmed me down, said to Claire, if choosing between you and my wife ever felt like a hard decision, I wouldn't deserve her. We're not kids anymore. You need to grow up. I simply do not want to be your friend anymore. I have nothing else to say. Telling you he can be a gem sometimes. But yeah, we blocked her, and her entire family. Since then, he's been checking in with me, not trying to fix things, just showing up, listening, understanding. He finally sees what I've been dealing with. We've still got some healing to do, but now I know where he stands. And that changes everything for me. To everyone who commented last time, thank you, seriously. You helped me feel like I wasn't crazy. And maybe even more importantly, you helped him finally see it too. Story 2. I already understand I've been petty, and most likely the asshole, but would still like some advice going forward. I apologize that this will be a wall of text. I am going to try to explain context. I will include a TLDR at the bottom. I, 25, male, and my girlfriend, 26, have been together for about 4.5 years now. Her and I moved in together just over 1 year ago as well. We were going to after her degree, but a falling out with her roommate happened, led to us moving in together a year early. Our relationship has been fine, we don't argue often, support each other's separate interests, and overall living together has been quite hassle-free. The only thing that has caused minor arguments between us is that she hates confrontation. For example, she works as a supervisor part-time, and where she works, the people being hired for her to train are paid more than her. She hasn't gotten a raise of any kind in over a year, which is illegal. She refuses to bring it up to the manager or anyone at all. This is frustrating, especially since she moved into my place. She hasn't been able to afford to put anything forth. I own the place myself, including pay for our car insurance, gas, and pay all of the bills, except we go 50-50 for groceries, and it's been tough for how much I get paid, because it's not a lot, but shouldn't be much longer. Anyways, her family and I have been decently close. They helped me move a couple years ago, they helped her move in last year, and we visit them for all major holidays and visit decently often since we got together. Her family and I only don't agree on one thing, which is my religion. I am not religious, but they are quite Christian, and my girlfriend is non-practicing, unknowingly to them. So whenever I go over, they are overall the top on everything, my girlfriend's words, not mine, on their religion, and constantly trying to force me to join them in their practices. And whenever I decline, they say things under their breath like, "Oh, we will fix you," in a half-jokingly manner. but we have never visited long, so it's never been much of an issue, usually only 2 to 4 hours at a time. They live around 6 hours away from us, in another city. My girlfriend moved to my city around 7 years ago before we met. This is where I believe, and everyone else, that I am being an asshole. And the current issue. We stayed at their house for the first time overnight a couple months ago, and while there for around 6 hours, it was all going well till it got to around nighttime. They told me I should get the couch ready, and I was confused as my girlfriend has a room sizable for the both of us. So I questioned, I thought I'd just sleep with girlfriend's name? And they declined, saying that our relationship wasn't at that level in their eyes. I accepted and did not want to argue, as it's their house and their rules. But I am quite tall, 6'6", and I grew a lot of that when I was young in an incredibly short amount of time, which resulted in a lot of medical back pain and issues for my entire life, and being unable to even do the sports I used to love. So I told them I wouldn't be able to sleep on the couch, sadly, especially since it was barely bigger than a love seat, but would be more than okay purchasing a room at a hotel for myself and girlfriend. They also live within a couple minutes from some hotels, so I'd most likely be able to find a room close by. And they said I was turning it into way too big of a deal, and to respect their beliefs. And after back and forth, they eventually said they give up, and told me to sleep whenever I wanted, and they were not happy and went to bed themselves. I was going to purchase a hotel for myself, but my girlfriend got upset at me for attempting to do so, so I stayed on the couch, which resulted in zero sleep and my back hurting for a couple days. But I was at least able to watch some good movies. Nor they brought it up the next day, and we eventually left. Since then, I felt quite guilty as my girlfriend said I shouldn't have argued in their house. Now, months later, they were wondering if they could visit us and stay with us. My girlfriend and I agreed, of course. But before they arrived, I let them know that our couch wasn't quite big enough for 2 people, and they were very confused. I told them they would be sleeping on the couch, and they asked why. I told them that I felt they didn't respect our relationship to their standards, and I followed the rules under their house, so they should follow mine. They argued once again that since they are married, their relationship is more respected than ours. I told them that them being married doesn't mean that for me, and if they are coming to my house, they have to follow the rules of such too. They ended up hanging up and texting my girlfriend they would not come over until I would apologize to them, and was in the right mind. This led to my girlfriend and I arguing about this, and she agrees that their relationship is more respectable due to being married. And I told her that marriage isn't what grants me respect for a relationship. It's the foundation it's built on, and how 2 people treat each other and those around them. So, should I apologize and allow them to sleep in this spare bedroom? My girlfriend believes I am being incredibly childish, petty, and unreasonable, which I definitely agree I am being petty, but I still just don't feel right allowing them to do whatever they want in my house if they don't respect my relationship with their daughter. They were happy and didn't say anything about us moving in, but feel weird in us sleeping in the same bed at their house, which I found weird, but also never brought up. TLDR. Girlfriend's parents won't let us sleep in the same bed at their house. They are now refusing to come over, because they can't sleep in the same bed at my house either. Update. TLDR of last post. I was a petty, childish asshole and wasn't letting my girlfriend's parents sleep in the same bedroom at my place because they wouldn't let us sleep in the same bedroom at theirs. Hey, it's been 20 days and I sort of forgot about this, but Reddit Auto logged me in and reminded me and thought I'd give an update. Ask for more advice. So I read the comments, and it helped me realize from outside POVs that I was 110% being a petty asshole. I already sort of knew that, but hearing people with no connection to us confirm it helped open my eyes. I pulled my girlfriend aside the next day of my post and apologized, admitted I was being childish, petty, an asshole, and that I wasn't acting my age. I was more like acting a toddler not sharing toys. She agreed and laughed at my analogy, and forgave me as long as I called her parents, which was my next plan anyways. I called her parents, said roughly the same thing, and they agreed, did not laugh, and told me that they will find another date in the future and reschedule staying with us, which I told them sounded great, and we hung up. All was well, but the comments and some private messages helped me realize as well that my girlfriend's not taking initiative was something I needed to seriously talk to her about and stop letting go if I planned on marrying her. I thought of how to say everything I wanted to, etc., etc. And a day or two later, I decided to talk to her. I told her how much I love her, the person she is, and brought up many things she brings to our relationship to start things out. I then brought up how, if we are going to work more in a healthy manner, as we get more serious and conjoined, things do need to be more equal between us. So, I wanted to work on a compromise. I pay for everything, except 50% groceries. I do the majority of the cooking and cleaning, etc., as you all know. She got quite upset at this, and was trying to say she doesn't have value in our relationship, but I tried to reassure her, and the conversation sort of ended there. I stuck my ground, and 2 days later, I brought it up again once the dust settled. And while the conversation was rocky, we worked on a compromise that she will ask her boss about the raise she deserves. We'll begin doing more of the cooking and cleaning. Not more than before, but more than me. I asked her also if she would talk to her parents about the whole trying to convert me thing. And well, baby steps, not gonna happen yet. Anyways, why I still need advice as well. Since we had that last conversation, I thought things would be better. But she's been cold. She's been only cooking really quick meals like frozen stuff, mac and cheese, etc. And I tried talking to her about it, and that I'd be happy to teach her the stuff I'd make for us. But she always says, if you don't like it, make us stuff you do, which is fair. But I know she's as good of a cook as me. I tried talking to her if things are stressing her out, she declines. I tried asking if anything's wrong, she declines, etc., etc. She's been cold. Our intimacy life took a nosedive from once every 2 days, only twice since my last post. I tried feeding into her love languages. She likes words of affirmation a lot, so I've been complimenting her extra and reassuring her. But she seems uninterested. I even tried asking her if I explained anything badly, or said the wrong thing about the conversations above, and she says, no. What can I do to make her feel happier? She barely even greets me when I come home now. TLDR. Apologize to my girlfriend and her parents about last post. Ever since bringing up stuff that bugged me, she has been very cold. Update. I am currently deciding to do 2 things as comments have suggested. A. Spend a week doing everything for myself, by myself. Watch what I please, make just my own food, and finally take the classes I have been waiting for her to agree to, pottery, baking, etc., and just do my own thing and see how she treats it. My main fear being that she will just see this as petty, and that I'm doing the same thing as I almost did to her parents in my last post. B. Try and talk to her one more time about all of this, which most likely she won't be receptive to. Tell her how I feel, what I want in a relationship, and needs to change if it wants to work. I obviously fear she will break up with me for that, but if she does, it's probably for the best. Update 2. I think I will choose A. Try and give her a slight taste of her medicine, and then bring up how I felt. Maybe she will understand better once she sees me doing my own thing.